Libya has big plans for its post-war future, with hopes of it being reborn as the next Dubai. On paper, it's got all the qualifications: beach, sun, and rich oil reserves, and Western companies are lining up for their stake, but it's the ones in the UK that analysts say seem likely to come out on top. For more on this, we're joined live from London by RT's Laura Smith. Good to have you with us. So why does it appear that the British companies are being favoured here?
Well, what we're seeing is essentially, of course, we remember that this was the effort to topple Gaddafi was an effort that was certainly initially led by the UK and also France. And the UK sent in its air force, and it also used its navy to make a naval blockade around Libya. And now the National Transitional Council in Libya is saying that its friends will be rewarded. And these are not just words. We've seen a couple of trips in the last sort of 2 weeks or so. Earlier this month, the UK Department for Trade and Industry led a working party to Libya to have a look around, see what needed doing, what needed rebuilding. And now the National Transitional Council has come to London to hold a meeting with top city business executives to drum up interest in what they're calling massive opportunities in to rebuild Libya. So what we're seeing really is this direct correlation between participation in the effort to oust Gaddafi and contracts that are awarded afterwards. We have seen earlier German companies express an interest in taking part in the effort to rebuild Libya, and the Libyans saying, no, you didn't participate in the bombardment, in the no-fly zone. You had no part in that, so you'll have no part in the business opportunities either. And of course, this is the same thing that we saw post-Iraq conflict. Again, French companies said to the Iraqis after the conflict was over that they wanted the opportunity to participate in contracts, and the Iraqis said, no, you didn't participate in the war, so you won't get to participate in the business afterwards. The majority of those contracts were awarded to UK and US companies. And we have already seen that the UK Department for Trade and Industry has staff on the ground in Libya ready to welcome British companies that are awarded those contracts.
Now, does it appear that the cynics will say that this was the primary goal of the humanitarian mission which those now favoured countries unleashed a few months ago?
Well, yeah, I mean, people have been saying that all along, really, since the very beginning. We know that Libya has the biggest oil reserves in Africa, but this seems to give more fuel to that argument, seems to make it more obvious that those constant professions of this, of a humanitarian goal, seem to have been made a mockery of by this. And as someone said to me last week, we bomb, we destroy, and now we get the contract to rebuild the place. And there is this seemingly direct correlation, as I say. And we also heard at the time reports of evidence of bartering before NATO even got involved in this. We heard reports that the National Transitional Council told the French that if they sent in their warplanes, then the Libyans eventually would award Total, the French oil company, 35% of all oil contracts up for grabs. And for the UK, of course, which is looking like it could be one of the main players in this has turned out to be excellent business. Estimates vary as to how much the war cost the UK, but we're sort of settled around $500 million now. And now we're looking at $30 billion in contracts up for grabs over the next 10 years. So it certainly looks like an excellent investment.
All right, RT's Laura Smith live for us in London. Thanks for that report.